what's up YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this Switch gaming video for this week, where I take a look at some of the stories and that at least caught my attention and give you my thoughts and my opinion of them. Before I begin, I also want to say, even though this video will come out on Saturday though, I will say Happy Halloween to my viewers and to my subscribers and everyone out there. I hope you guys had a safe and enjoyable Halloween, whether it was going to a party or handing out candy or going with, friends or families or kids doing trick-or-treating or anything like that. Hope you guys enjoyed Halloween, had a safe one as well. So now we got that away, why don't we get started with our My 2 Cent video, and we'll start off with the first one. And this one is an interesting announcement that came out from Capcom as they announced the fact that they are bringing over several Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1, the remake one that originally came out for the GameCube. That was originally GameCube exclusive before making its way onto the PS3, and then PS4, and then of course Xbox One, and the Resident Evil 4, which I hail as one of my favorite entries in the Resident Evil series. I rank it at number 4, no pun intended, as my favorite video game of all time. As well, and of course that's also made an appearance on the PS2, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, and PC as well. In an article on GameStop.com, it is reported that Capcom has announced Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 are getting Nintendo Switch ports. All three ports are currently scheduled for 2019, but specific release date has not been revealed yet. Capcom tweeted that more info will be coming soon. And of course, according to Capcom, they posted a tweet, again, link will be in the description of this video, of them basically saying Capcom's bringing multiple fan favorites to Nintendo Switch. Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 will each be launched on Nintendo Switch in 2019. We have more info soon. So for them, it certainly is nice and encouraging that they are bringing several Resident Evil games over to the Nintendo Switch. 0 was kind of an interesting game since it involved you switching between two characters, Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cullen. So, though it was a little bit different than, say, to some degree, a little bit different because both of you are swapping items back and forth. Resident Evil, obviously the classic, originally premiered on the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. God, I feel old even mentioning that as well, before being overhauled and remade for the GameCube as well. And Resident Evil 4 still remains a fan favorite and it's a personal favorite of mine, and I think it's the one that helped set the standards for a lot of what we saw in third-person shooters games as well. So to see these games coming to the Nintendo Switch is certainly nice, and it does kind of open the door a little bit on the possibility that other entries could come to the Nintendo Switch. Two of them I am kind of mixed on this one. While I'm not against Resident Evil 5 and 6 coming to the Switch, depending on how well these Resident Evil games do, they weren't exactly the best entries, at least from my opinion. 5, great if you're playing as playing in co-op, but as a single player, it was a pain in the ass. The AI just ate through your items very quickly, so that was definitely a tough game. 6 is not liked by a lot of people, as many felt like it was Capcom's attempt to make Resident Evil feel like Call of Duty, which didn't exactly sit very well with a lot of people. Not to mention, the only bright spot I could think of was that Leon's campaign was actually the best out of the other ones. Chris felt like, am I playing Resident Evil or Call of Duty? Sherry and Jake's was alright. Ada's stealth one, God, that was awful. That was awful, in a way. So it's very encouraging that Capcom is bringing these entries in the Resident Evil series over. Obviously, Resident Evil Revelation Collection on the Switch must have done well enough for Capcom to consider, yeah, let's bring these over as well. And hopefully this opens the door to the possibility that Capcom may consider bringing in, say, 2 other Resident Evil games that I would have loved to see come to the Switch, providing that it's possible to bring over. One, of course, is the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that one as well. If that sells well enough, maybe Capcom will remake Resident Evil 3 Nemesis and Code Veronica. And the other one, of course, is Resident Evil 7, which to me is the second best Resident Evil game since 4 as well. And I'm not talking about that whole cloud thing that they have in Japan. I'm talking about actually trying to squeeze the game into the cartridge, if that's possible, considering that supposedly during the development of the Nintendo Switch, Capcom asked Nintendo to put in a little bit more hardware so they can have their Resident Evil engine run on the Nintendo Switch. So great that they are bringing these older titles to the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully this opens the door to the possibility of maybe other Resident Evil entries as well. And again, I would love to see the Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 7 come to the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully that does happen. Obviously we have to know if technically they could pull it off, but hopefully that opens the door for that. But overall, great that Resident Evil 4 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Would like to see some of the Wii control schemes, such as the aiming with the motion controls though. Say what you will, but I felt that they did a good job with the aiming with the Wii Remote and nunchucks. Maybe it'll be a mixture of a lot of things as well. And great that they're bringing in the other Resident Evil games as well. Here's to hoping to see more entries in the Resident Evil series come to the Nintendo Switch. So overall, it may not be the Resident Evil 2 remake or Resident Evil 7 at this time, but glad that we're getting more Resident Evil games to the Nintendo Switch. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2 of our video, and this one's going to be talking about Red Dead Redemption 2 and some of the impressive sales numbers that have come in for the game so far. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Red Dead Redemption 2's sales numbers. Now, I'm sure most of you know Red Dead Redemption 2 just recently came out. It's one of the biggest hyped and one of the biggest games that a lot of people are looking forward to playing, especially if you have a PS4 and the Xbox One. I have the game as well, and although I am a little early in the game, I am impressed with it, despite the fact that at the beginning it kind of gets off a little bit to a slow start, and the fact that you need 2 discs, a data disk and the game, just to load the game in. For me, I had to wait like an hour and 30 minutes to load, which I think is utterly ridiculous. That's one criticism I have towards it. But I am impressed with what I'm seeing so far, especially the whole first-person mode that you could play the entire game in, which I kind of do with that. I leave the vehicle and the horse riding to the third-person view. But it seems as though Rockstar's got to be pretty happy with the numbers they have gotten in right now, because it looks as though the game is off to a good start though. In several articles, this one from CNBC, links in the description, it highlights that Take-Two's interactive Red Dead Redemption 2 scores to a 725 million global retail consumer sales in its first 3 days. They're not counting digital sales yet, though, since we don't know how well it did digitally, though. Although I think it probably did well. A feast the company has called the single biggest opening weekend in the history of entertainment, and shares of Take-Two's jumped 11% on Tuesday following the announcement, though. It says that the numbers eclipse even the highest opening weekend in box office history. Disney's Avengers: Infinity War grossed in more than $640 million in its first weekend on the big screen, according to data from Box Office Mojo. Following the announcement, shares of Take-Two's Interactive soared by 11% on Tuesday. Bank of America Merrill Lynch has previously reiterated REITERATED, apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly, its buying range for the company's stock in August, predicting strong sales for Red Dead Redemption 2, although there were some analysis that think that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was going to overtake Red Dead Redemption 2. According to them, they're saying We continue to favor Red Dead for upsides this holiday, while our long-term thesis is unchanged. Take-Two has its biggest runaway to benefit from digital shifts, microtransactions, shift margins, expansions, and multiple expansions from streaming content deals. Analyst Justin Post said in a summer note to clients. According to Take-Two, Red Dead Redemption is the second highest grossing entertainment launch of all time, falling behind another Rockstar release, Grand Theft Auto 5, which at this point we might as well call that Skyrim because it continues to stay on the list. It won't die, people. It just won't die. Which achieved over $1 billion in retail sell-through during its first 3 days after being released on a Tuesday, which is why it failed to clinch the opening weekend titles. And according to, I believe, Digital Trend, I think we may have a good idea about its on the digital side, though. It said that on PS4, Red Dead Redemption 2 came in as the most pre-ordered digital game ever on the platform. It posted the highest launch day and three-day sales in PlayStation Network history. The previous launch day sale led to Call of Duty Black Ops 4, a game that held the title as PlayStation sale champ for all of its 2 weeks. For comparison's sake, Black Ops 4 grossed $500 million overall in its opening weekend. Data for Xbox One were not made available. So obviously, Rockstar must be pretty happy right now, seeing that this game has taken off very well. And I have to say that's good, though. I mean, yes, the company itself, there are some criticism, though, especially the whole mandatory or that whole 100-hour work week controversy. That is somewhat of a concern, though, and that's an issue the industry as a whole has to address in a way, though. I will say they must be really happy with these numbers right now. And I gotta give Rockstar credit for the fact that they take their time and basically actually put time and effort into their games as well. So this is definitely good news. One thing I find very interesting, putting the Red Dead Online aside for just a minute, which obviously we know that's going to probably be like GTA Online to be exact. Even though I haven't tried GTA Online, I'm not really a big online person at all. I have a feeling that's what Red Dead Online is going to be like, similar to GTA Online. Here's the thing that I find interesting, though. A overall single player game managed to overtake Call of Duty, which for this year focused solely on Battle Royale, the whole trying to be like, in a way kind of like Fortnite is. It managed to overtake it by 225 million. Black Ops got 500 million. Red Dead Redemption 2 got 725 million. It's pretty amazing, and it should state, and I know some people will call this bias or something like that, it should state that, one, the power of the brand, the quality that Rockstar puts out, and they actually take their time, though, on it. Let's see, is the power of the brand, quality, though. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they really put time and effort into their games, and the fact they earn gamers' trust on this obviously got some pretty good attention on this game as well. More positive than, say, Activision and Call of Duty in the past. So, overall, I have to say, hats off to Rockstar. Very impressive that they managed to really get Red Dead Redemption 2 off to a great start. It will be interesting to see if it will cross maybe the 1 billion mark. I have a good feeling there's a good chance it probably will. And it'll be interesting to see if it stays on like the NPD charts or other charts for a long time. See if they could pull off what Grand Theft Auto 5 has done as well. And obviously, given the successful sales numbers on this, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the road a Red Dead Redemption 3 will happen. And I believe that they probably will do a Red Dead Redemption 3. If it does happen, my guess is that it will most likely be on the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox right now, titled Xbox Scarlet. So, but overall, kudos to Rockstar. Great that Red Dead Redemption 2 is doing very well in sales, though. I do have some criticisms about Rockstar. There are certainly some things they've done that raise some eyebrows, but overall, I do have faith in there when it comes to developing games. They do a very good job with it. So good that Red Dead Redemption 2 is doing well. Hopefully, I'll have a review of the game soon. I'm kind of early into it. I gotta have time to play it and all that stuff, but good news for Red Dead Redemption 2, and great that you guys are off to a great start with the game as well. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get to part 3, and this one's going to be about Bethesda in terms of their comments on why Fallout 76 is not coming to the Switch, to their comments about their support of the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of our My Two Cent video, and this one has to do with Bethesda, though. Now, although Bethesda has its share of criticism, some people like to point out that a lot of their games can be buggy when it's launched, like what happened with Skyrim to Fallout 4 and all that stuff. Bethesda is still one of the few Western third-party studios I do have faith in, along with Rockstar, and there aren't really a whole lot of Western studios I have a huge amount of faith with, though. And surprisingly, they've been very supportive of the Switch with several releases of their games, ranging from Skyrim, Doom, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, and of course, Fallout Shelter, all came to the Nintendo Switch. And apparently of course we're getting Doom Eternal, the upcoming game on that, though. But one game that doesn't seem to be coming to the Nintendo Switch that was announced, though, and although it's running into some issues as well, is the game Fallout 76, which was announced at E3 as an always online game, though. In an article on GameStop, again, link will be in the description of this video, they are saying that Fallout for Nintendo Switch wasn't durable, but Bethesda still loves the system. According to GameStop, they're saying, quote, Bethesda has been one of the high-profile major publishers throwing its weight behind the Nintendo Switch, but this won't extend to Fallout 76. During a panel at PAX Austin today, Bethesda marketing exclusive Pete Hines states that Fallout 76 on Nintendo's console wasn't durable. That being said, Hines said every Bethesda studio considers the Nintendo Switch for its new product, but whether or not it works depends on a number of factors. Hines said that Bethesda's management allowed the individual teams to decide what's best for their games. Management at Bethesda never gave studios a mandate, and this includes the platform it chooses to support, though. The Switch is something I can say with certain that it's a part of every conversation with every developer we have now about what we're doing going forward, because we consider it to be a viable platform, he said. If the game works on it, we want it to be on every platform possible. Fallout 76 is not because it just wasn't durable, but honestly, there is no game in development that we haven't had a conversation about bringing to the Switch. Does this work on a Switch? Do you have plans for the Switch? It's not a mandate. Everything we do has to be developer-led, but it's something we want to make sure it's on folks' radar. I enjoy us being seen as a third-party leader in terms of supporting the Switch, he adds. People goes, hey, you got a lot more stuff on a Switch than this publisher or that publisher. That's what I want Bethesda to be known as. We're the guys who are willing to take some risk. The confirmation of Fallout 76 not coming to Switch not long ago after ZeniMax Online studio boss confirmed that the Elder Scrolls Online won't be released on the Switch. Hines also made it clear that another one of Bethesda's pursuits is make money. Bethesda is launching games on Switch because it believes it ends up being a smart commercial decision. You go where the money is because that's how you stay in business. What we have seen compels us to say Switch is a viable platform for the kind of things we do going forward. During the panel, Hines teased that the next Wolfenstein game is also coming to the Switch. That's intriguing because the new standalone game, Wolfenstein Youngblood, is only confirmed for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. There is also a third major Wolfenstein game coming, but no platform has been announced yet. It appears Hines was referring to one or both of these games. Bethesda had already released Skyrim, Doom, and Wolfenstein New Colossus on Nintendo Switch, and Hines says Bethesda games on Switch are doing well commercially. The upcoming Doom Eternal and Elder Scrolls Legends are also heading to the Switch. And according to Digital Trend, they point out basically mentioning what was said on the GameSpot report, and they concluded the takeaway of the story, and this is what they said, quote, "The takeaway of the story, if it's not an online-focused Bethesda game, there's a good chance it will arrive on the Switch sooner or later." So it looks as though it's clear that Fallout 76 is not coming to the Nintendo Switch. Which I'm kind of mixed about this in a way, though. On one hand, I can understand why some people might be disappointed with it because they would love to see it to play it on the go with that, play this game on the go. On the other hand, being the fact that it is a multiplayer only kind of a game and always online can make this a little bit difficult, considering that the Switch is designed as a console handheld hybrid, or a console you bring with you on the go. Although, to be fair though, Fortnite and Paddlein are always online games, and developers were somehow managed to bring it over to the Nintendo Switch. But it doesn't sound like Bethesda is completely shutting the doors entirely. The fact that the next Wolfenstein is coming to the Nintendo Switch is certainly nice though, although they could be mentioning Youngblood, or they could be mentioning Wolfenstein 3 to be exact. So it does seem like they're not shutting the door entirely on the Nintendo Switch. It's obviously they're going to take a look at, can this game come to the Nintendo Switch? Obviously they're probably going to be looking at the same thing with Rage 2. A game that I'm looking forward to playing and would love to see to come to the Nintendo Switch, but I wouldn't be surprised if they say it's not coming at all. I'll be somewhat disappointed, but not surprised if that's the case. We haven't heard any official confirmation yet. But if they could get that game running on the Nintendo Switch, even if it's at 720p, 30 frames per second, provided it's a stable 30 frames per second, then yeah, I would be okay with that. I mean, I played Doom and Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus on the Nintendo Switch, and I certainly enjoyed these games though. Yes, it's clear it's not going to be anywhere near the same level as the PS4, Xbox One, or PC, or Steam, and you can obviously see there were certainly some limitations though. But they were able to get that game running, and even though it was at a 30 frames per second, for the most part it was a solid 30 frames per second, and I would be okay with that. If they could bring, Elder Scrolls 6, providing that's like, Skyrim, like it's offline or something like that, or I think the new one, Starland or something like that. If they could bring those over to the Switch and they are able to pull it off and keep it at 720p and a stable 30 frames per second, I would be down with that. So overall, it was kind of a disappointment that Fallout 76 isn't coming though, but obviously Bethesda hasn't shut their doors completely for the Nintendo Switch. They obviously see it as a viable market, and hopefully whatever games they worked for, they can actually bring it over to the Nintendo Switch. Personally, if this is possible, I would love for them to bring Wolfenstein, the Old Blood, and the New Order. I would love for them to bring Dishonored 1 and 2 to the Nintendo Switch. I would love for them to bring Prey over to the Nintendo Switch. I certainly would be down if they were able to bring Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4, if that's possible, over to the Nintendo Switch. Again, I would be okay with them running at 720p 30 frames per second, provided it's a stable 30 frames per second. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people say 60 frames per second is better, and I don't disagree with that though, but if they can manage to keep it at a stable 30 frames, I would be okay with that though. Also, it turns out to be, speaking of Fallout 76, it turns out that, if I could get the article over here, that apparently there was an issue with the beta that has some users, I believe this, and mostly for PC users, that obviously leave some that are not happy with, and that is basically a bug that deletes the game for some users. According to going to GameSpot, excuse me, they were saying a Fallout 76 bug causes some PC users to accidentally delete the entire game, prompting Bethesda to extend the beta as a make good after warning users not to click any buttons on the client. It told them to allow the beta game file to re-download. The company later took responsibility of the bug and announced the extension. Eurogame reports that the bug only impacts PC users, but those affected have to re-download the entire 50 gigabyte beta file. That could lead to long waiting times and ISP data restrictions. So the company was compelled to issue a mea culpa, CULPA. It will now run on November 2nd to 11 from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time. The tweet notes that the extension is for everyone, so users on PS4 and Xbox One gets a little extra benefit without having been impacted by the bug. So, according to a tweet that Bethesda Game Studios put out, we know that some users have been forced to re-download the Fallout 76 beta, and not everyone will be able to enjoy the game tonight. To make good, we extend the beta for everyone on Thursday, November 1st, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for your patience. So the good news is, obviously, it sounds as though Bethesda is aware of this problem, and hopefully they're trying to address it. That said, that is kind of a little bit troublesome. The fact that it seems as though, and seems to be only applying to several PC users for now, the fact that the entire beta is that your entire game is erased and you have to re-download it, and the fact that you may have to wait, possibly depending on what your internet speed is, an hour or maybe longer though. So while it's great that Bethesda is addressing this problem, it is somewhat of a big concern what kind of impact this could have basically when the games launch. I mean, are we going to run into the same problem again? Will not only PC, but could PS4 or Xbox One users be impacted by this or anything like that? So I'm hoping that Bethesda at the very least is addressing this problem as well. And I think the one golden rule I will say about always online games, even though I'm not a big fan of always online, is that if your game requires an always online connection, you better be ready for everything that's going to be thrown at you, to be exact. So I hope this is an issue Bethesda is going to address, because the last thing they need is the kind of situations where not only PC users are upset, but Xbox One or PS4 users get upset over the fact that their entire progress has been deleted and all that stuff, or they have to re-download it and possibly wait a long time for the game to upload. So hopefully this problem is addressed, and hopefully by the time the game launches on November 14th, that this doesn't become an issue and that it's smooth sailing for PS4, Xbox Ones, and PC users. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 4, our final My 2 cents, and this one's going to be kind of a bit of my thoughts on the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct, the final one that Nintendo put out. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our 4th and final part of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And this one, we're going to be talking about the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the final Direct. Now, I think a week ago or a couple weeks ago, though, there were rumors going around about the possibility that we'll be getting a direct focus on the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, though. The big game Nintendo is obviously pushing for this year, along with Pokemon Go, I think Leafy and Eevee as well. Apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly and anything like that. And the rumor had it to be that the Direct would appear between November 6th and 12th. Well, part of that rumor turned out to be true and part of it didn't. While we didn't get a Direct on November 6th and 12th, though, obviously we did get basically the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct. And it pretty much covered a lot of things, though. We learned about some of the new features like the spirits, which act kind of like a little bit of like an attachment to different characters and all that stuff. So we learned about that. The spirits, 2 new characters. Ken from Street Fighters is going to be in it, including one called the Incinerator, Incineroar. Again, apologize for not saying the name correctly, though. Other than that, we also talked about the spirits. I'll mention the spirits battle, the leveling up spirits. We learned that despite this being the Ultimate Collection, we're going to get some DLCs as well. Apparently, can purchase. I think that it will go through up to the end of February 2020. Again, this is information from mynintendo.com. Links in the description. Basically, they're saying for like $5.99, $6, players can purchase one set. They're saying new fighters, stage, and music will be coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate through the end of February 2020 in the form of paid DLCs. For only $5.99, $6, players can purchase one set, which includes a new playable fighter, not an Echo Fire, a new stage, and a variety of music tracks. By purchasing the Fighter Pass, aka the Season Pass to be exact, for $24.99, $25, players will get access to 5 yet-to-be-announced set, which is 5 new fighters, 5 new stage, multiple music tracks as they are released. Players who purchase a Fighter Pass will also receive an in-game outfit based on Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 starting December 7th. Pre-purchase the digital version of the game with the Fighter Pass in Nintendo's eShop or on Nintendo.com before 11:59 p.m. on Eastern Time on December 6th will earn My Nintendo members 425 bonus gold points or double the usual amount. The bonus points will be issued on the game's launch day. They also point out that early bonus purchase, Piranha Plant. That's one of the Piranha Plant takes roots. The iconic enemy from Super Mario series is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for early purchasers. Players can purchase the digital version of the game or register their physical game card on Nintendo Switch device by January 31st, 2019 to gain access to this new fighter when it's available on February 2019 at no additional cost. Piranha Plant, together with a new stage and music track, will be available for purchase as a DLC in the future. Fans can pre-purchase the game and secure the Piranha Plant rewards starting today by visiting their site smashbros.com, Nintendo Buy. The new Amiibos are coming out as well. December 7th, we'll see Inkling, Riley, and Wolf. February 15th, we'll have King K. Rool, Ice Climber, and Piranha Plant. And sometime in 2019, Isabella, Piku, Ken, Young Link, and Daisy. Now, the one that caught my attention the most is the Adventure Mode, the World of Light. There may not be a single-player adventure quite like Adventure Mode. Adventure Mode Subspace Embassy from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But something has caused the numerous video game characters in game to lose their bodies and transform into spirits. While today's Nintendo Direct provides some sneak peek, Sakura, the director of Super Smash Bros., wants to keep part of this adventure mode secret until the game is launched. That kind of caught my attention the most, the fact that they are adding a single player mode, and I'm curious to see how that is going to work. One thing I've seen comparisons so far, and this is kind of interesting, is that some people have compared the trailer for the adventure mode to the trailer for Avengers Infinity War, and as a fan of the MCU, I kind of like the comparison and all. They also talk about assist trophies, Mii fighters, wireless and online play. They're saying Super Smash Bros. Ultimate let players battle together with friends and family members via wireless or online for fun and for glory, which existed in Super Smash Bros. Wii U and Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS, are no longer options. Instead, matchmaking is based on three factors. Preferred rules, which let players choose their rules for battle and pair up with others with similar preference. Global Smash Power, an online leaderboard that pits players against others with similar scores. And proximity players, which are close to the other geographically, though. There's 2-player co-ops. While playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Online, 2 players can team up on one Nintendo Switch system online and take the other team with them with the same setup. They also talk about the smartphone feature, which I'm not really a big fan of. And the Switch Online app has had its history of criticism and all that stuff. They talked about Elite Smash, where once a player's global Smash power is high enough, he or she will be invited to compete in an elite in-game battle. These VIP matches are for the best and also some serious competition. Their Smash Tag. Everyone who competes online will need to create a unique Smash Tag. By beating a fellow fighter, players will receive their Smash Tag to display on their profile. Collect a bunch of Smash Tag. It's a great way to show off high-level Super Smash Bros. Ultimate accomplishment, though. So overall, they're like anything. They are really pushing a whole lot of features in it, though. And finally, they say early hands-on event. Fans can check out the game site for information about a varieties of upcoming hands-on event. At these special events, players will have a chance to choose from all 74 fighters. So obviously, like always, they're really going all out for this game. And I will say, some of the stuff, again, I'm not the biggest Smash Brothers players, but some of the stuff is kind of interesting as well. The fact that they have the 2 Belmonts in there is certainly interesting. The single player mode, I definitely want to try out myself, though. I want to see how well that one plays. And the fact that we're getting these amiibos as well. I'll be honest with you. I like collecting amiibos, okay? I just, for some reason, I just like collecting them. So I'm definitely keeping an eye out for that one as well. So there's a lot of stuff to take in. And obviously, they're really, like always, they push a whole lot of stuff in Super Smash Bros. Though. Although I'm curious to see whether this is the last time, if whenever Nintendo's next system happens, will Sakura be there to do another Smash Brothers games, or is this pretty much the last one and that's it and all that stuff? So overall, a whole lot of features to take in. Some features I like, some of it, like the whole Nintendo Online app, I'm not a big fan about that one though. So obviously they're gearing up for when it comes out on December 7th though. And while this rumor talked about the Smash Brothers one, which turned out to be true, I'm still interested to see what happens between November 6th and 12th, whether the rumors of a second Nintendo Direct actually happens or not, though. So I'm very curious to see if that happens, though. We'll have to wait and see, but for me, my fingers are crossed, and hopefully we do get another Direct on that day. We won't know for certain if it does or doesn't, so we'll have to wait and see, but for me, my fingers crossed. So overall, if you're a diehard Smash Brothers fan, I'm sure you liked what you saw right there. Last time I checked the video, it was trending at number 2 on the YouTube, although we don't know if that's changed or not. So, but to me, some things I like, some things I'm not a big fan of, though. I'm not the biggest Smash Brothers player out there. I'm maybe more casual on that side, but I'm definitely taking a look at it. I'm definitely looking forward to trying it out when it comes out on December 7th. Okay, this concludes my 2-cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion, but what are yours? What are your thoughts about these announcements of several Resident Evil games coming to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think this is great? Are you looking forward to these games coming to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think this opens the door to possibly Resident Evil 5 and 6 coming to the Nintendo Switch for the first time? Do you think that maybe Capcom is seeing how well these games do, that maybe down the road the Resident Evil 2 remake or Resident Evil 7, if it's possible, could come to the Nintendo Switch as well? As for Resident Evil 7, I'm referring to actually bringing the game, not streaming it through the cloud like they are in Japan, to be exact. And what are your thoughts about Red Dead Redemption 2's sales number? Do you think this is very impressive? Do you think this game will have legs in the same way as GTA 5 has had? Do you think at this point we could see it cross the $1 billion sales mark? Do you think it's already there? Do you think it's going to get there at some point, to be exact? What are your thoughts about Bethesda not bringing Fallout 76 to the Nintendo Switch? Are you surprised by this? Are you not surprised by this, though? Do you think that Bethesda will? Do you think Bethesda might port other games over to Nintendo Switch? Do you think we'll see like the ones that I mentioned, like either Prey, Evil Within 1 or 2, or Fallout 3, New Vegas, or 4 come to Nintendo Switch, though? And what are your thoughts about? What are also your thoughts about this report about the beta, at least for the PC version, running into the bugs, deleting the entire game? Do you think Bethesda will address this problem, or do you think this could be a big concern once the game launches, though? And finally, last but not least, what are your thoughts about the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's final Direct? Did it deliver everything you wanted? Was it exactly what you expected? Are there features you like? Are there features you don't like? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!